Hi heathens! So, thought I had something in my teeth for a second. So for this video, I'm going to do something I did quite a while back, which is I'm going to do my makeup while I talk about a movie that I recently watched. And in this case, it is going to be, as you can tell from the thumbnail and the title, a movie called Before I Wake. So the way these videos work, well, let me keep these on while I talk. The way these work, if you didn't watch my last one or are new to my channel, in which case, hi, hello, I am Sunny, is I do my makeup, you know, just a look that is kind of random or takes, like this one will, some inspiration from said movie. And I list everything in the description box down below, but I focus more on talking about the movie than the makeup. So if you want to know what I'm using, look down below. You might be able to catch glimpses, but I'm not going to necessarily go into expressive detail about what I'm putting on my face. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin. So just a warning, there are going to be spoilers in this video as I'm going to talk about, I'm trying to find somewhere safe to put my glasses. I'm going to talk about the whole plot of the movie, kind of whether or not I enjoyed it. Spoiler alert, I really did. And then kind of go through the concept and really the whole plot of the movie. So anyway, Before I Wake is like a thriller type movie where the main character, like the story follows, mainly this young boy, who has been put into foster care. And, the movie starts out with, what you find to be one of his foster fathers attempting to murder him in his sleep. So right off the bat, it's kind of an aggressive start. And so that's how you start. And then you cut to the new family who wants to adopt him, which you later learn, and this is in the description of the movie, at least the one that was on Netflix when I watched it. Also, I have a bump right there. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but it's right where my glasses sit and has been annoying me all day. Anyway, so you find out that they lost their son and are ready to bring another child into their home, kind of open themselves up to that kid, take care of them, you know, what adoptive families essentially should be for their foster children. They're ready to do that. And it immediately starts off with the mother-wife in therapy talking about how she's dealing with the loss of their son. And sorry, if you saw the way I looked at this just now, I thought this palette, when I was grabbing it, had a black in it, and it clearly does not. So I'm going to adjust my thought process here a little bit. So you cut to her in what appears to be like a grief counseling session, and her explaining to everyone, you know, we're bringing a kid into our lives, we're going to adopt this kid, and they are taking down pictures around their home of their biological son to kind of clear the slate. And I think that's the exact phrasing that they use, is starting with a clear slate with this foster child. And when they're in there speaking with the foster agency and I guess his caseworker, she, you know, alerts them that they're not supposed to have like feelings about the kids, and they're supposed to be impartial, but that she really likes the boy and he's very special, and, you know, he just deserves a good home. Because unfortunately, the other what just happened. The other foster families that he's been placed with, for one reason or another, just have not been a good fit. And, you know, she's kind of sick of seeing him bounce around. Which, I mean, who wouldn't be? I feel like that's such a hard position to be in. Anyway, so you fast forward to them bringing him home, and he is drinking this, like, energy drink or soda to try to stay awake. Just super cute, super sweet kid. And, you know, that throws up the red flags because you're like, what the heck? But he's got this little box that he carries with him, and that's where he keeps these energy drinks and sodas and other stimulus items, even to the extent of pills. So then you find out he tells his foster mom, because she finds the stimulants, and kind of confronts him, but in a really nice way. And he says that he can't sleep, or he's afraid of sleeping, because that's when the canker man comes. And, you know, she tries to explain to him that the canker man can't hurt him there, and that, you know, sometimes we have scary dreams, but they're not real. And, you know, just tries to ease him off of this fear of the canker man. Well, he takes her advice and goes to sleep. Well, her and her husband are down in the living room, and all these butterflies come into the house and come into the room, and they're these vibrant, beautiful, you know, brightly colored butterflies, with the focus being blue, which is kind of why I'm doing a blue eyeshadow look. And, you know, her and her husband are like, what the heck is going on? How did these butterflies get in? And she realizes that the back door is open, so she goes to shut it. All the butterflies vanish. The husband has caught one in a jar, because they know that the child collects butterflies. They're his favorite. He has these books on butterflies, blah, blah, blah. So he tries to catch one, and when she shuts the door and they go away, the one that he caught also goes away. So they're trying to figure out, you know, what the heck happened. The boy comes down the stairs. His name is Cody. I feel bad just calling him the boy. And, you know, tells them he's sorry. They don't understand what's going on. But in the background of one of these scenes, you see what, you know, is later to be known as the canker man standing in one of the doorways. So it kind of builds the suspense for the moment, because you expect something to happen, like something bad to happen, and then it never does. So you cut to this kid in school, and there's this bully in school, and the Cody is the new kid, and he watches this guy be a bully, and now the bully has it out for him, because obviously he's the new kid. And so fast forward, he comes home from school, everything's normal, and he sees a picture of his new foster parents with their biological son, Sean, and winds up asking who Sean is, and they essentially tell him, you know, he's now in heaven. And so fast forward, he falls asleep again, and Sean is in their living room. And it's just this little smiling Sean. He doesn't say anything. And they go up to him, they hug him, XYZ. Then there's butterflies everywhere. And then, just like the butterflies before, he vanishes. Cody apologizes for his dream, or apologizes in general, and they still haven't fully caught on, but they're kind of making connections that when Cody sleeps, they can see Sean. And the mother kind of takes it upon herself to use Cody so that she can see her son, and winds up showing him this home video where they were celebrating Christmas with Sean, and you know, he falls asleep and Sean is in their living room again with the Christmas tree and opening presents, but of course only saying the phrases that were in the little home movie. So you finally get to see, I think it's at this part, if not, it's somewhere in this frame. You finally get to see the Canker Man, and he crawls on top of Cody in bed and whispers, "I'm always with you," which is what Cody said in the beginning, that the Canker Man's always with him, but he only sees the Canker Man when he sleeps, but his dreams and nightmares, you know, come to life. And the Canker Man eats people. So, fast forward, he goes back to not sleeping because he feels bad, because he knows that they're seeing Sean. He thinks it's making them sad because the mother is getting worked up because she wants to see Sean more. And so he feels bad and thinks it's a bad thing. She wants to continue using him and see Sean more. The husband, father, is getting frustrated because he knows that that's not fair to Cody. Because they brought him in to love him and protect him, not to see their biological son. So, you fast forward, he hasn't been sleeping, and one day he's on the way to school, the bully shoves him down, and this friend that he's made, or the bully pushes him, he shoves him down. Nope. Rewind. I'm seeing it in my head now. He had brought a butterfly to school in a jar, and the bully comes and knocks it out of his hand, smashing the jar and ultimately killing the butterfly. Well, this friend that he's made at school, this little girl, he shoves the bully down, and the bully's name is Tate, and she reminds Tate, you know, he started it, he kind of deserved it, and they go into school together. So that day the bully really has it out for him, and they go to recess, and the bully's outside the class, like waiting for him to come out. And so he asks the teacher if he can stay inside that day. She sees the bully looking in, so she's like, "Yeah, and I've noticed you were tired, so why don't you just go lay down your head?" And, you know, reluctantly he does, and winds up falling asleep, which, of course, is bad. All these, like, I don't know if they're moths or locusts, but they're dark-winged flying creatures. They're not butterflies. Come into the classroom. The bully comes into the classroom. The Canker Man appears and eats the bully. Like, literally just swallows him. The girl that he had become friends with sees all this, screams, like, how would you not? And wakes him up. He realized what happened because obviously he sees it in his dream nightmare. And they have to essentially say that the kid ran away because, you know, nobody's going to believe that this evil entity that's not actually there ate this kid. So the cops are talking to the little girl after school. The boy doesn't want to go back to school because he knows what happened. And, like, of course, he's scared, Cody. And so he gets home that afternoon and tells the foster parents that, you know, he doesn't want to go back to school. He's sick. Dad gets it out of him that he's upset, not why, but that he's upset about the boy running away, and lets him stay home the next morning. They actually wind up... How did I get eyeshadow under this eye too? Whatever. They wind up going shopping and get him a new bed, and the mom, who works at a hospital, she's a nurse, she gets him a prescription for sleeping pills. You know, it tells the doctor, like, hey, he hasn't slept in a while, we don't know what to do. And the doctor's like, how long has it been? And she says, like, 3 days or something like that. And he's like, well, you know, they can't really go that long, so I'll write this prescription that's going to help him sleep. And I don't know how many she gives him, but she brings them, like, milk and cake, and I guess crushes it up and puts it in his milk, because then when he goes to bed, he is just knocked out. Well, that night, he winds up having a nightmare, and Sean is there, but it all goes bad because it's a nightmare, and they wind up seeing the canker man. It chases them through the house. They run into Cody's room to try to wake him up, because like I said, they've made the connection now that his sleeping, therefore his dreams, are what's causing what they're seeing. And the dad's trying viciously to wake him up while she's holding the door, and he's like, you know, he's not waking up, and at this point she feels bad and is like, yeah, he's not going to for a while. The dad slaps him. He wakes up for like half a second, falls back asleep. Canker man winds up getting into the bedroom and consumes the dad. So, like, these people that the canker man is consuming are, like, actually factually gone. It's not like it consumes them and they spawn up somewhere else. So, canker man knocked Mama out, like, full on backhands her. She has this giant bruise across her face, and Cody, when he wakes up, notices that she is unconscious and calls, I guess, 911, or calls the child protective lady. It's not really made clear which one he calls, just that he makes a call and help arrives. And of course, she's bruised, the child had been drugged, the husband is missing, so everyone's a little suspicious of what's going on. And she saw her husband get eaten, but has no idea how to tell them, like, okay, well, this child's nightmare creature ate my husband. So when they're like, hey, where's your husband? She's like, yeah, I don't know. And so they take the kid back. Which, of course, she's screaming that they can't take him because it means that she won't get to see Sean anymore. And it's just a mess. Well, she starts doing some digging. She goes to talk to the child protective lady, the caseworker, and steals Cody's file so that she can get information on his previous foster families, his biological mom, all this. Winds up going and hunting down the foster dad you see in the beginning, who was trying to kill him. Winds up hunting him down. He's now in a mental institution because he's telling everyone that his wife was eaten by a demon or something like that. Well, you know, she knows that this is a little similar to what she saw. So she sits down and talks to him. He's trying to explain to her what happened and ultimately how he was pushed to want to end Cody's life, because he was so angry, because even though his wife was gone, when Cody dreamt of her and remembered her into existence, he was so young he didn't remember her properly. So she wasn't even visually the right person. And that upset him so much, and every time Cody slept, the canker man appeared, and so he just wanted him, you know, gone forever. And he didn't know if that might bring his wife back somehow. So he's explaining all this and essentially tells her, like, you know what you have to do. So she winds up hunting down information on Cody's biological mom, steals her file from the hospital, because again, nurse. So is using like all this, like, oh, you know, we need these files, blah, 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 to get the file, steals it, and learns that his mother wound up developing cancer. And that was how she passed away. Well, she gets a box of his mother's personal effects, because the hospital tells her, like, you know, if nobody has come to pick them up, they may still be, you know, wherever they were being kept. So she goes and hunts them down, and inside one of these items is a blue stuffed butterfly, which she puts two and two together and realizes this is why Cody has his butterfly obsession. She takes that, goes to the little home where Cody is being held, and like, he's asleep. They had to also drug him to get him to sleep because it had been like 4 days and he hadn't slept. And so these kids are being adhered to the wall with this like black vine and clear stuff. She realizes that's Cody's mind putting them in a chrysalis so they stay safe until they grow up, which is what happens with, you know, butterflies and moths. And so she hunts down the room Cody's in. The caseworker is there, also stuck to a wall. And she goes in the room, winds up being confronted by the canker man, realizes that that's how he is remembering his mother. And when she comes up and tries to scream and attack her, she holds out the butterfly and it just stops. She reaches out and hugs it, and it slowly transforms down to the floor into Cody. She goes in there, picks him up, asks him to release all the kids, and in turn the social worker tells the social worker she's taking him home. I guess the social worker is seeing all these butterflies, realizes that it's not all bad, and clearly she and her husband were not harming Cody. And she goes home, pulls out the box of his mother's file, and essentially explains to him that his mother kept a diary and loved him very much, and the only reason that she stopped writing is because she got really sick, and sorry, can't do this and talk, is that she got really sick, or, you know, he would have never been put into foster care. And shows him the file, points at the word cancer, and is like, do you know what this word is? And he says that it's canker, because in his child mind, that's what it devolved into, which later, since the cancer ate her, devolved into a canker man who ate people. So she essentially explains that he doesn't have to worry about that, because as long as they have each other, everything is going to be fine. And it ends, they're in bed together, and that sounds creepy, but it's totally innocent. You know, she's trying to comfort him and everything. And he asks for a bedtime story. And she tells him one about a sad mother and a sad mother who needed a son and a lonely boy who needed a mom. And this boy had an incredible gift, and, you know, he harnesses it and does incredible things. And the boy, Cody's like, well, does it have a happy ending? And she's like, I hope so. He's like, I don't see how it could. So she's like, you know, maybe in this world, all these people come back. Like, the previous foster mom is reunited with the foster father. The bully wakes up in a world where he feels no need to be mean or bitter anymore. And the new foster dad, her husband, gets the best gift of all, which then they show in this, you know, fake world that it's because he's reunited with Sean. And she's like, you know, I can't wait to see what your gift does later on. And he, like, just closes his eyes and holds out his hand and materializes one of his dream butterflies. And that's where the movie ends. So it's just this really, like, fantastical but really beautiful horror movie. I don't know. It did actually have a jump scare that got me, which is impressive because I normally anticipate jump scares pretty well because I love horror, thriller, mystery, murder, drama, all that. And that one actually got me because it wasn't a sound jump scare and I wasn't expecting what happened to happen. But yeah, this is a movie I definitely recommend. Give it a watch. Like I said, I watched it on on Netflix. I don't know if it's on Hulu. But if you get a chance to watch it, it's definitely worth checking out. And like I said, if you're interested to know what is on my face, I'm going to be listing everything in the description box down below. Let me see if I can catch this highlighter because it's very interesting. Doo-doo. I don't know if that helps any, but yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Let me know if you'd like more. I was originally going to make it a series. Now it might just be a as I can, as I want to. But if you're interested in them at all, or if you have any recommendations, let me know. And subscribe to see more of my content. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!